All right, when he appeared, Nigeria was winning the war against insurgency. It is now confronted with another insecurity situation, the armed banditry in a large scale. By April 2021, the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs counted over 25,000 internally displaced Nigerians in the northern region of Nigeria who had fled their homes for better protected towns. Now, joining us now to speak more on this is the communications coordinator of the ICRC, Robim Waudo. It's nice to have you join us, Waudo.
Thank you for having us.
Great. Now, talk to us generally about, we can understand how challenging it can be trying to coordinate people who are scared, people who lack a lot of things, and then you have to camp them somewhere to ensure that they have the needed things of life. But share with us some of the challenges, especially when you are encountering new people in a situation like that.
Thank you for this opportunity. Indeed, the International Committee of the Red Cross, the ICRC, is working in different parts of Nigeria where people are affected by violence or the armed conflict that is going on in the northeast of the country. And because of this, you have said a lot of people are displaced. We are talking hundreds of thousands of people. And when they are displaced, they have nothing to live. They don't have basic water, food, shelter, security. These kind of things are what we provide them in some of the camps in the different parts of the northeast in the country. This is very challenging because, first of all, we have to logistically be able to bring these materials to where the people will be. But in places that are really far to reach, like Damboa, in different parts of the northeast, in Borno or in Bama, there are security issues. Reaching these places and delivering this aid is the main challenge that we are faced with.
But knowing that the ICRC is a neutral party to any of those kind of conflicts, when you come across non-state actors, what is their engagement with your personnel like? How do they perceive you?
It is, first of all, very difficult for us to get in contact with non-state actors because, as we know, there is a conflict going on and there's a confrontation between these actors and the government forces. So it's very difficult for us to be able to reach them and be able to talk to them. So we have to use other means. We use relays, like talking to different parties that might be able to transmit messages to them. But our message is simple. First of all, civilians and their property is protected. This is a very general rule in international humanitarian law, but it is even a law in this country, and it is a law of morals too.
I see. So what kind of support do you get, considering the fact that you are helping Nigerians or you're helping Nigerians or Chadians or Cameroonians in their countries and all of that, or sometimes in the case of refugees, what kind of assistance do you get from governments, and international organizations, and even institutions and organizations within the country?
First and foremost, we get support from the host countries themselves. You've talked about different countries. In Nigeria, we are working very closely with the government authorities. We have good contact with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Water, because we have to provide these services to people who are affected. And that support is not just in terms of dialogue, but in agreement. We have memorandums of understanding where the Ministry of Health will provide A and we will provide B, or the Ministry of Water. So the collaboration is ongoing, not only in Abuja or in Lagos, but far away in the field where you have local leaders. This collaboration, we can say, has been good because it enables the ICRC to be able to assist thousands of people every year.
So we're counting about 25,000 internally displaced Nigerians in Nigeria, as it is, or that's a number of people. Talk to us basically, what are the most needed things that you have to cater for these people? What do you have and what do you not have?
As I mentioned earlier, people who are displaced end up with nothing because they have run away from their homes for fear of their lives or their safety. So they first of all need shelter. They need a place to stay. So we assist in helping them to build shelters. They need water and sanitation, very basic things which we all have in our homes and we don't see like they're very much needed. But we will do water and sanitation, shelter, health. We provide them with food at times or non-food items that they can use. We also assist them in case a family member has been lost while they were fleeing. We try to find those family members and reunite them with their families. But most of all, we need to be able to talk to the parties, both the government authorities and any other parties who are involved, in order to create an environment that creates a sense of protection for these people. Because they have fled, this is their first point. They need to be secure.
What is the story around the Northwest? Because, well, the Northeast seemed to be calm to some extent in comparative terms to the last, say, 5 years or 6 years. But the point there, what's the story in the Northwest, where you have more of bandits, you know, kidnapping people and so on in the last months?
First of all, I hope that to put the record straight, the Northeast is still quite problematic. There is an armed conflict going on. There are military operations. There are thousands of people being displaced. So we cannot call it calm.
Okay.
However, the Northwest is a different story. There is no two parties fighting like in the Northeast, but there is a situation. You have talked about banditry. Yes, there is the kind of violence that is displacing thousands of people like you have just mentioned. And we are not very active in the Northwest, although we have offices in Kano and in Jos, which is not quite the Northwest. But this is something we're looking at and thinking about how to assist these people who are also being affected by violence. We are expanding our knowledge, trying to understand it more, talking especially with the Nigerian Red Cross and others.
I see. So, and others. Share with us, when it comes to interagency collaboration and that friendship and that working together, what other organizations do you work with?
Well, we work with all the humanitarian organizations, and you know there are so many of them, from the United Nations agencies and programs that are operational, Oxfam, Save the Children. There are so many international organizations working out there to assist people and to protect them, as well as national organizations. And we normally have to meet these organizations. In Abuja, we attend the humanitarian coordination meeting that is held every week to talk about water and sanitation issues, protection issues, and other assistance. We are not alone. There is a huge task ahead of us. And I believe that in coordination with others, we can perform much better. So this is how we are working in Nigeria, but everywhere else in the world. And not forgetting that we work very closely with the authorities as well, as I had mentioned.
Okay.
Yes.
Robim Waudo, Communications Coordinator, ICRC, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Great.
the opportunity.